What's up, everybody? How's it going, guys? This is the fourth podcast for March. We are on a roll. It's the 30th of March. Easter is here. It's Good Friday today. Lots to look forward to over Easter. It's good times. It's actually my birthday. A week on Monday, so the 9th of April. But what I usually do every year, we've done this for the last 5 or 6 years, is me and all my mates. We go out quite often anyway. We always congregate down at the pub, watch a bit of football, shoot a bit of pool, do a bit of karaoke, depends where we go. But we do it quite often. But what we do every year is we like to go out and do a massive pub crawl, and I'm looking forward to it so much because I've been in for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've not been out anywhere. I've not really seen any of my mates, to be honest. I've been working that much, so I am really looking forward to it even more because sometimes when you see them every week, you don't really have much to talk about the following week. So the fact that it's been nearly a month since I've seen anybody is really good because that means I'm psyched, I'm pumped up, I'm ready to do it, and it's going to be one hell of a session. What we usually do is Sunday morning, because it's bank holiday. I'm picking the kids up tonight. They're staying with me this weekend, so what I'll do Sunday morning is I'll get an early night Saturday night, get up fresh Sunday morning. I'll drop the kids off about 10 o'clock in the morning, back at the mum's. And then I'll be pretty much ready to go. I mean, before I set off for mine, obviously I get a shower, I iron my clothes, I get ready, and then we get out. And then I'll drive back. I'll drive the kids back to the mums because I'll be picking them up again in a few days anyway, so they'll be coming back here. So 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll drop them off. I'll get to my mum's about 11 o'clock because she lives closer to the place where we're going. So I'll go to my mum's. I'll drop the car off at my mum's. I'll have a couple of brews, cup of tea wherever you come from, couple of brews, maybe a bacon and egg sandwich, butty, whatever you want to call it, and then yeah, we'll probably link up in town maybe about 11 o'clock in the morning, and we'll straight away we'll jump on it. We'll all meet up at the pub near the train station. So we'll all meet up there, and it'll all be like, hey, everybody's fresh, everybody's ready to rock and roll, and we'll have a couple of beers, and then we'll jump on a train, and then we'll head to the final destination. Where when we get off at the final destination, which is only 15 miles down the road, what we tend to do is we get off the train, go into the first pub. Now, the place where we're going is like, it's got like a strip, like a front, if you will. It's kind of like an English Vegas. So you kind of get off the train, go into the first pub, and then you just literally pub crawl the entire way, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you're talking the length of the front is got to be 2 or 3, maybe 4 miles, maybe 5 miles. So you get off the train, you jump into the first pub, you have a pint in there, and then you jump onto the next pub, literally the closest pub in the vicinity. You jump in there, pint in there, next pub, and we just do that and do that for about 5 miles, and it is one hell of an incredible, crazy session. Loads of people go there for stag do's, hen do's, all that kind of stuff. So there's lots of crazy stuff going about. Usually groups of guys that are all dressed in like fucking crazy outfits, like because they're on a stag do, and then you get like loads of chicks in little groups, and they're all celebrating a hen do, and everybody's just crazy, and everybody's just fun. It's kind of like the spring break. The English spring break, yeah, let's refer it to that, and it's just good. I mean, you just pub crawl the entire way. When you get just over halfway on the pub crawl, you start hitting the bars, and if the weather's good, you come out of the manly pubs where all the football's on and everyone's talking all manly stuff, and the sweat all the way around the pub. And we kind of merge into the bars because that's where the bars start. So as soon as you get to the bars, and the music's up, the music's blasted out. It's probably about 2:30 in the afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock. All the bars are blasting, and then by this point you're probably like, you've sunk quite a few beers, probably about 7 or 8 pints by this point. And then we'd probably do another 4 or 5 hour crawl up the bars, and then we'll end up in a final bar, which is kind of like a bar cum nightclub, if you will. But it's not really a nightclub, it's just more of a big, massive bar. That's just crazy, man. That's usually the final destination before we get the train back. And by this point, it's probably about 8, 9 o'clock, maybe even 10, 11 o'clock at night. We've been drinking for like 12 hours. Probably sunk, on average, you probably sink about 16, 17 pints. And then you're going to have to switch drinks because you can't physically drink or consume any more lager, because it just gets to you, man. I mean, when we do the Super Sundays over here, we call it a Super Sunday. It's when all the lads meet up and watch all the football that's on Sunday, and we do a massive pub crawl. We used to do that every single Sunday. We don't really do it as much now. Well, I don't really do it as much now because I've got way too much work to be doing, and it does cost quite a bit of money as well to do. But we're used to, it got to a point where we was used to sinking a good 10 to 15 pints on a one day thing. That's not an issue. But when you're doing this run, it's because you're pub crawling for 5 miles. You're using a lot of energy up, man. I mean, you literally are walking 5 miles. You're standing on your feet all day. You're not sitting down anywhere. You are on your feet for 12 hours straight, and you're sinking a lot of alcohol. So when you get to like 17, 15 pints ish, you start thinking, I've got to switch over here. I can't possibly continue doing this. So it's really good because I mean, there's never ever all the last 5-6 years we've done it. There's never been any trouble. There's never been any accidents. There's not been anything because we're quite a good set of lads. We look after each other. Nobody does drugs. There's no drugs involved in any of this. Not like I said, they're a good set of lads. I don't do drugs. They don't do drugs. Nobody does drugs. It's just literally a case of, and none of the lads really drink during the week. Like I said, we've all got our responsibilities, our families, our work to do and stuff. This is just our little breather that we have. And I've been going out with these lads for, most of these lads I've known all my life, or some of the lads I've known all my life, and most of them I've known for about 10 years, and every time I've been out with them, we've never had any trouble, there's never been any fighting, there's never been arguing. It's just a real good set of lads. So I'm really, really looking forward to that, because like I said, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since I've done anything, since I've been out anywhere. And it's celebrating my birthday as well. It's a week in advance, which is even better because I can celebrate my birthday a week in advance with all the lads, and then when it's my actual birthday weekend, I can spend it with family and on my actual birthday itself, which is cool. It's all good, so I'm really looking forward to that. Another thing as well, going back to the academy, I was going to do a live stream last night, but then something cropped up and I really couldn't do it, and I couldn't get anybody to cover for me. So what I did was I just switched it to tonight. So I'm going to do a live stream. I'm going to do a live stream tonight, so if you guys want to jump on that, if you're a member, if you've got a pro membership at the Academy, if you just go to the Student Hub, you'll be able to find the link there, which will take you to the page where the live stream will be. And it's kind of like, I've not really got anything planned, but, I'm going to vacate maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. Maybe we can do a little Q&A session, maybe we can all, just talk about stuff and what the future holds. Maybe even talk about a bit of click team stuff as well. We can touch on whatever you want to touch, but that's open for tonight. That kicks off about 8 o'clock GMT, so that's 8 o'clock at my time. All the local time zones are listed in the Student Hub on the ClickFusion Academy, so if you check that out, it'll tell you roughly what time it'll be for your time zone. But it's 8 PM GMT. I'm looking forward to it. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Maybe I might just sit there and just work on something, let you guys watch, and then we'll have a bit of a chat as well, or whatever. I'm trying to look for a webinar kind of software so other people can jump on with the webcams and the headsets, so it's not just me doing all the talking. It'd be pretty cool to have other people talking and stuff. That's the kind of thing that I want to do. I want to get people together and talking and communicating and sharing ideas and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to take a look at that today. I'm going to have a look around, see if I can find some webinar software. Failing that, I'll just have to do the screen record, and we can have a little chat box or whatever. But I really would like to do some kind of webinar where other people can join in with their headsets. Maybe we can do a Discord thing. Who knows? Who knows? So check that out. That's 8 o'clock tonight, GMT on the Academy. So if you get yourselves over there to the Student Hub, I'm going to be setting up maybe an hour before that, so if you want to jump on a little bit earlier and maybe find your feet a little bit earlier and get into the swing of things, or maybe help me test some things out, who knows. But it's definitely going to be a live stream on tonight. Um, so yeah, so Easter. This is going to be my final day of working before Tuesday because I have literally worked my ass off the last 4 weeks, and I mean worked my ass off. There's nothing left. I have done 4 weeks straight work every single day. I've not missed a single day, and I feel like it's well deserved to take at least 3 days off over the bank holiday. But you know what the funny thing is? I'm saying this with such assertion, like I really mean it, and I know damn well I'm going to end up back on the computer at some point. So definitely not Sunday because that's where we're doing the pub crawl, and maybe not Monday because I think I'm going to be, I think I'm going to be quite ill on Monday. But come Tuesday, everything should be fine. But I think I have a job to go to on Tuesday actually that's not on the computer. So it might be Tuesday night by the time I get back round to the computer. I'll probably do a little bit tomorrow or Saturday because, we're taking the kids out and stuff, and we're setting up a little Easter egg hunt for them here at the house as well. So they've got like a little Easter egg hunt that they're going to go through. But then when it's wind down time and, because the kids, I mean, my daughter, Maddie, she's got this crazy energy, man. She's got this crazy amount of energy, and I wish I had a 1/10 of what the energy that she has. I'm trying to utilize it best I can. She will literally from opening her eyes, waking up, she will spring up and she is non-stop till she goes back to sleep. Literally. But it gets me excited to see her, I'm really excited to see her. When I go, like sometimes I can go all week because she lives 30 miles away from me, so I can go all week and I don't really see much of her. So I pick her up, and before I even pick her up, I can just picture all this energy in my head. It's like, whoa, it's quite overwhelming, but it's really good. It gives me butterflies to see her, so I can't wait to see her. And then we've got my eldest son coming as well. He's 16 this year, you won't believe it, 16. So he's going to be 16 in a couple of months. He's actually like the same height as me now. He's only 16. He's the same height as me, and I'm 6 foot. So I don't know what the hell he's going to grow to. But yeah, so it's going to be a crazy weekend. It's going to be good though. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to embrace being in good company, having a good laugh. Easter's a good time of year. And then I've got my actual birthday the weekend after, where I think me and my partner are going to go away. She deserves a break. I deserve a break. We're just going to go away for the weekend, and I think we're going to get one of these little teepee things. It's like glamping, or it's like camping, but it's not glamping either because it's not in one of the glamping pods. I think she's got one of these teepee things, like big Indian teepees. But it's kitted out with electric and everything. It's got a fire pit, it's got a couch, it's got a bed. It's got awesome stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my GH3 camera and I'm going to get some epic B-roll of wherever it is that we're going. I have no idea where it is. I think it's in the Lake District somewhere. So I'm going to take my camera, I'm going to take all 4 batteries, I'm going to take all my memory cards, and I'm going to create some epic footage that I'm going to upload to YouTube, so you can check that out as well. Also, still running the sale on the Fusion Academy. This is the lowest price ever that anybody has ever got the Academy for, or ever will, because it's like $39 at the minute, down from $99. I already lowered the price from $149 to $99, and now you can get it at a third of the price at $39, and that sale ends on Tuesday. So if you haven't already subscribed or signed up to the Click Fusion Academy, get yourself sorted out. The link is below. You get it at $39, man. It's absolute chicken feed. You get access to all the content that's already on there, and obviously all the future content that gets uploaded. Uploaded a couple of new tutorials this week, and obviously we've got the live stream tonight, which is good. I'm looking forward to that. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I haven't had a chance to work on much for myself. Like you work on your own little personal projects. But I tell you what, I did start yesterday. I started a new top-down shooter. It's like a zombie game, so I might preview a little bit of that tonight on the live stream. I don't know. It's still very early in tests at the minute. But what I've done is I've managed to import all the graphics and animations, and they're really smooth. It looks really good on the computer. I'm going to try and make it as cross-platform compatible as I can, but I don't know how how far I can go with that. I might just keep it as a PC version so I can implement some awesome shader effects and cool layering effects, which you kind of lose on mobile. So I'm not really bothered about that. But I might just make it an awesome desktop game. I might even make it multiplayer as well. I don't know. Let's see which way the wind takes me. But it's looking good. I've created this awesome blood effect when you shoot the zombies. Basically what I do is I detect for the overlap, well, I detect for the collision between the bullet and the zombie. But check this out. What I do is when I detect the collision between the bullet and the zombie, I don't destroy the bullet. This enables me in the same frame tick, excuse me, to open a group and then run a fast loop. So that bullet, by the time all this code is executed, the bullet is still in the same position at the collision mask. So what I can do is I set a marker where the collision happened, then I open the group. No, sorry, I open the group, I set the marker, and then I run a fast loop. Once I've set the marker where the bullet was, it's like an invisible marker. I then destroy the bullet because you don't need the bullet anymore because I've got the invisible marker there. And that stays there then until the fast loop's completed and it splurts out a load of blood and then it destroys the marker. So and the user doesn't see this because it's all invisible, but obviously they see the blood come out. So basically the way I've coded it is no matter what position you shoot the zombie, so if you shoot him in his right arm, you're going to get blood come out of the right arm. If you shoot him in the left arm, you're going to get blood come out of it. If you shoot him in the right hip, blood's going to come out of his right hip. So that's the way I did it, and I literally managed to achieve this in under 4 events. Just managed to, and it works perfectly, man. There's cool blood splatting out everywhere when you shoot zombies, but they're all like hit precision. It's really good. It takes me back to the old Soldier of Fortune 2 days, which ran on the Quake 3 engine. And Soldier of Fortune 2 managed to take the limb system that Quake 3 engine had and made something ridiculous like 36 hit points for a body. Soldier of Fortune 2 was gruesome, man. I mean, when you were playing multiplayer online, if you managed to kill someone online and the body just laid there on the floor, you could you pull your knife out and just hack them up. And it was like, because there was like so many hit points, you could literally cut limbs off. With precision. It was gruesome, but it was a cool game. I loved Soldier of Fortune 2. I used to play that game. Honestly, it came out in 2002. I think I bought it back end of 2002, and I literally played it through to 2008. That's 6 years worth of playing, right? And there used to be a website called c-sports.net, c-sports.net it was called, or something like that. Somebody pointed it out to me one day. I was on TeamSpeak, and it was like, "Oh, Danny, check out these stats on this C-Sports." And basically what this C-Sports had done is every player that connected to the master server, you had to connect to the master server to play online. So if you played on someone's server, that was connected to the master server, which was at Ravensoft. And what this C-Sports had managed to do was log every single player that ever played Soldier of Fortune 2 online. So after 6 years, well, it was about 5 years at this point when this guy told me about it. He was like, "Oh, you're on there." I was like, "What do you mean?" So I logged onto it. Whoa! It had how many? It had how many times I'd been killed, how many kills I'd done. This is over 5 years, by the way, and I had no idea this site existed. Check this out. I clicked on the what's it called? On the there was a stat for time played. Amount of time played over 5 years, and it was some absolutely, I can't even remember the figure, but it was 5 figures, and I'm pretty sure it was around the 18, maybe 19,000 hour mark. It was absolutely out of this world. How the hell I managed to get any work done between those years is beyond belief. But I was working on the website stuff back then, so everything was pretty much automated. I was doing the website development and the web hosting. I also hosted a game server company as well. So we provided game servers for Quake 3, Counter-Strike, Soldier of Fortune 2, Wolfenstein, the lot. So I was heavy into the game server thing back then as well. So again, but all that was pretty much automated, so I could literally just play games and make money. It was quite cool. But yeah, it was incredible. I would still love to play it now. I fired it up last year because I've still got it installed on my computer. I fired it up last year, and unfortunately, there's quite a few servers still going, but the master server there was something about the master server. So Punk Buster doesn't work for it anymore. So you're guaranteed, if you're going to find any real life players on there, that they're going to have loads of aimbots and wall hacks. So you're just going to be playing with a bunch of cheaters. If you're not playing with a bunch of cheaters, you're playing on a server that's full of bots, and nobody really wants to play with bots. But it was good to get back on. I did manage to get back on, and I saw one server that was active. There was a few that was active, but there was one server that I joined, and there was a few normal people on there, and it was good fun to catch up and play. But I didn't know any of these people because we had like a little community. Because I've been playing it for 5 years straight. Obviously, I had my own clan, had my own servers, my own website. We had our own forums. I was making maps using the Quake 3, using GTK Radiant. Oh, it was good times. I would never change them times in a million years. I met some real good friends. We every day we spent together online. It was brilliant. So, but I would never change it for the world. Obviously, them days are gone now. Quite devastated when I think about it. But I would, it's good that I managed to experience all that kind of stuff. And now I see my kids doing the same thing on their PlayStations and Xboxes, and I'm like, get off that computer! You're on that computer for too long. When I was doing the Soldier of Fortune 2 thing for 5 years, I wasn't living with my mum and dad. I was quite independent. I had my own place, so I didn't have anybody to say to me, "Oh, you're spending a bit too much time on the computer." So but it is when I see my kids. I don't mind them. I love them playing games. I love them playing on their Xbox and the PlayStation. I think it's productive in a way because it's certainly good hand-to-eye coordination. I'll give you that. But there is a limit, man. There is a limit. You've got to draw a line in the sand and say, listen, you're spending too much time on this, especially when it starts affecting them emotionally. And I think that's the point at work. That's why you've got to be responsible at parenting, because it can affect kids emotionally. I mean, when I was younger, and the kids don't even play out these days. When I was a kid, playing out was #1 priority. So if one of my mates came and knocked on for me, he was like, "Oh, you're coming out to play football?" I'd be like, "Yeah." That was always #1 priority. Even though we was hooked on gaming. I mean, I was hooked on gaming from about the age of 4. I mean, I had the Master System. Before that, I had the Commodore 64, the Amigas, the Ataris, with the Master System, the Mega Drive, Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, N64, the Game Boy and Game Gear. And then obviously as you get older, you get the PlayStation. I had the PlayStation 1 as soon as it came out, and the Sega Saturn. No, sorry, my brother had the PlayStation 1. I had the Sega Saturn. I remember Tomb Raider on the Sega Saturn was a lot better. But so we was addicted to gaming. I mean, I could spend a whole day gaming, but it was a different set of gaming back then. It was a different way of gaming back then. I mean, there was definitely no such thing as 3D. Back in the NES days and the Super Nintendo days, there was no such thing as 3D. So it was all 2D. And we didn't have the options that kids have today. I think I've covered this in one of the previous podcast. I think it was one I had with Stephen. The kids don't know that they're born today, and because they have so much choice. I mean, I do it now. If I switch on my Xbox One at night and I have a look at the store, or I've got that Game Pass, so you can get free games. So I go onto Game Pass, and I never end up downloading anything because there's just too much to go through. I mean, you type in like even Resident Evil. You type in Resident Evil, you think, oh, I'll play Resident Evil because the Resident Evils were the games we were playing back in the 90s. Man, you type in Resident Evil on the Xbox One store, and you've got about 50 new versions he brought out. You're like, what the hell? So I've found myself lately going back to the old school and just playing the games that I remember, like the Tomb Raiders. I've just literally, the last 2 months, I have blitzed every Tomb Raider game from Tomb Raider 1 right through to the Rise of the Tomb Raider. I have literally done that the last 5 or 6 weeks. I wish I'd have recorded it, because that would have made some great YouTube content. But I literally blitzed every single game. I started right at the beginning, Tomb Raider 1. That was an absolute ball ache. You can buy it from places online, and they're saying, oh, it works well with DOSBox and all this. You download it, because I think IDOS ended up, well, not IDOS, it's Square Enix now, and they ended up giving it away for free anyway. But I bought a pack online that said Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 2, Tomb Raider 3. I can't remember if I've got it on Steam. I think it was Steam, but it didn't include Tomb Raider 1, and what a ball ache. What an absolute ball ache. What I ended up doing was downloading Tomb Raider 1, PC version, but then I had to download the PlayStation 1 CD, rip all the maps out, extract them, and obviously the copy protected, so I had to get around the copy protection, extract them to the game folder, and then play the game. And then the joypad was buggy. It was like, Jesus, what have I got to do just to play Tomb Raider 1? But after that, I was playing Sailing. Tomb Raider 2 is on Steam, so that's got some good support for controllers and stuff. And then Tomb Raider 3, and then we just kind of rolled on from there, and I just did the entire selection. So, but now I've finished them, so it's like, what do I do now? So I'm playing Hitman at present. And that's pretty much it. This Fortnite and PUBG and all that, I couldn't care less about. I'm not interested. I don't know whether it's because I'm stuck in my ways. You know, if one of my kids said, "Hey, Dad, do you fancy a game of Soldier of Fortune 2?" I'll be like, "Damn right, let's do this. Let's set this up. We're gonna kick your ass." But if one of my kids said to me, "Dad, do you want to play Fortnite?" I'd be like, "Listen, I am not playing Fortnite." Nothing like our games that we used to play. And I'll tell you what, I've been watching some videos on YouTube on my Xbox at night when I'm bored of Fortnite and PUBG. And I'll tell you what, in my opinion, they are, even though they're free games, they are absolutely still nowhere near as the quality as what Soldier of Fortune 2 was. And I'm not talking in terms of graphics. I couldn't give a shit about graphics. I'm guaranteeing most decent online gamers do not care about graphics. Obviously, it's nice to have good graphics. It's complimentary to have good graphics. But Soldier of Fortune 2, if you go onto YouTube after this podcast or you Google image Soldier of Fortune 2 and look at the graphics, and they was back from 2002, and looking back, I think that they were absolutely way before their time, them graphics. The fact that you can have 36 limb points where you could shoot and cut off and whatever, but to me it's not about that. When you're online gaming, it's all about the performance of the game, how you can move. This was very important in Quake 3. You had many factors. I remember my config file, I hacked it to death, my config file. You know, I when I mean hack it, I mean optimize it and tweak it. So I had loads of keys binded for different. I created my own scripts where I could do 180 turns in one key press and all that kind of stuff. But the network side of it, I made sure that I clamped down. So the graphics side of it, there were some people playing it, you know, in high resolution, which back then high resolution was like anything over 1024 768 because it was a 4x3 game. To me, that wasn't important, so I used to run mine at 800 by 600 because I didn't care about the graphics, and then because I wanted performance over quality, so I used to drop the resolution down, which was a major factor back then. The way graphics cards handled this kind of stuff, the lower your resolution, the faster the game would run. Now that's still kind of true today, except there's a lot more scaling techniques involved in today's GPU rendering, so you can have higher resolutions without you know, jeopardizing performance. But back then I used to tweak it down 800 by 600. I'd take all the grass off because I didn't need grass. Why the hell would I want to see grass? So I'd take the grass off. You know, my my aim was to be the ultimate Soldier of Fortune 2 player, so I didn't care about seeing grass visual aspects of my screen. Get rid of the grass, knock it down all the graphics, you know, don't have trilinear rendered images, textures. I'm not interested in trilinear or even bilinear texturing. Just give me plain texturing, you know. So it was all about that. It's just a different era, and I could probably go on all day about this stuff, but I'm not going to, because I'm probably going to bore the death out of you if I do, if you're not interested in that. So I'm going to quickly switch topics just in case I'm boring any of you guys to death. There's a lot to do. This live stream tonight, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to keep doing some more podcasts, at least on a weekly basis as well. I don't know what more to say. I don't know what more to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep doing what I do and do it all on a whim. You notice, if you've been following these podcasts from the early days, you'll notice that I always do it on a whim. I don't have a piece of paper in front of me. I don't have any notes on my screen saying cover this topic, cover that topic. I don't have anything like that because I'm not interested. I'd just rather do everything on a whim, talk about what's on my mind at this moment. I'll tell you one thing I do want to do, and this is a bit of a plug. One of my mates, Adam, he's from over Yorkshire way. He has his own group called Impact Gamers. You can check the website out. I think it's impactgamers.net. Let me just triple check that, because impactgamers.net. Check that website out. They're also on Facebook as well. Adam's doing a real cool thing. Adam is deeply involved in some schools around his area, which is like Bradford and that kind of area, and he's doing some real awesome stuff by helping kids learn stuff like maths and game development using Fusion, and he doesn't ask for any money off anybody. He doesn't want to get paid for any of it. He's not interested in all that. And that's one thing I love about the guy. He's focused in on the aspect of just helping people create. Well, kids. It's kids mainly. Obviously, they do professional sessions, like paid sessions and stuff, obviously, because the guy's got to eat. But what he's doing at the minute is it's called Maths Impact. And just looking on his website now, it says we are planning to develop software which is called Maths Impact for schools, which will support the work of impact gamers, so they can run more sessions free to the public. So they're looking for around £11,000, and that £11,000 is not just to go in their pocket or feed them while they teach Fusion. That's not what it's about. What this £11,000 for is to start the development of Maths Impact, and that covers the initial cost of developing some software in Fusion which will teach kids maths. And they're going to hire out a guy called Sam Adams, who also is a maths consultant. So obviously he's a maths expert. Obviously they need to hire him out for his time so they can develop the software right. So what I want you guys to do is, they have got something somewhere where you can donate something. I'm going to donate something as well. This is something that is really good, because kids up north in the Bradford, Leeds area, and Lancashire as well, it's quite effective. It's quite the same up north. I don't care what anybody says, we are left behind in the economy. I don't care what anybody says. All the focus is down in London. You can guarantee that. You look at the stats. There's papers on it. Obviously the only thing the north had going for us was back in the Industrial Revolution, which sadly is no longer about, because for some strange reason we decide to source all of our manufactured stuff from overseas because it's cheaper apparently. Which is it's kind of crap. That's one thing I don't like about the UK. The industry has gone down the pan. There's no jobs because of that. Well, I'm not saying there's no jobs. There's jobs, but you get my drift, don't you? The Industrial Revolution was huge for the north of England, and that's pretty much collapsed now. We had a canal built from Liverpool to Manchester, and that was back in the industrial days, and the canal was specifically built to transport goods from Liverpool dock into Manchester. Well, they don't even use that for that anymore. The canal's still there, obviously, but they don't use it for shipping goods, because there is no, there's other ways of doing it, or whatever it is. There's a port up at Newcastle. The only thing that port's ever really used for is passengers going over to Amsterdam and stuff. You know what I mean? There's industry is knackered, and so up the north, there are a lot of deprived areas. There's a lot of it's just, I'm not going to get into it, but it's what Adam is doing here is awesome. I think if you can help kids out in any way, shape or form, whether it's with maths or English, because to me maths and English are the two vital things that everybody needs in life. It doesn't matter about geography, it doesn't matter about science. You can learn all that stuff. Get your English and maths behind. This is what I keep telling my son, who's ready for leaving school this year. But I actually home educate my son. That's another matter. We'll talk about that another day. But I always emphasise to all my kids, English and maths has to be your priority. It has to be. It has to be. You don't even. It's not even about speaking good English. It's about writing good English. It's all about your literature. If you know how, you need to know. I mean, you should be very proud of being English, and I think that kids should know English. I mean, you listen to my accent. I've got a proper common accent. I don't even pronounce words properly, but that is my accent, and I'm proud of my accent. However, my English is A plus, and I'm not blowing smoke. I know my English is A plus. As long as I can type English. As long as I know what I'm saying and I can come across well, that's all that matters. Maths is very important. I mean, if you're going to go on to study anything scientific or in science areas, biology and physics, you need maths anyway. So get your English and maths out. And what Adam is doing right now, is appealing to the maths for kids. So he's got a link somewhere. I'm going to post it in this description for this podcast. Just check it out. If you can donate something, then please do. It'll be much appreciated, even by me. And I'm not even affiliated with Impact Gamers or any of these schools or anything that they're doing, because this guy's like 100 miles away from where I am. but I really appreciate what he's doing. So, and I think that some of you guys may also appreciate that. So I'm going to post a link. It's a fundraiser, and it's at Curring or something like that. But I'll post a link below. Check it out. Just have a look over it. Give it a once over. And that's pretty much it. It's 12:30. I better get some work done because I'm doing the live stream in 8 hours. I've got to pick the kids up in 6 hours, 5.5 hours. My partner's at the gym at the minute, so it gives me a chance to do this podcast, and maybe I can do a couple of videos as well. I love a bit of peace and quiet to do these kind of things. But yeah, that is all I've got for today. Listen, guys, thanks for tuning in to this podcast. I hope you guys have an excellent Easter. I hope you have a real good time with family and friends. And just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it for what it is, and eat lots of chocolate. Forget about the calories. Forget about what the doctor says. Just use these 3 days to eat a shed load of chocolate and be happy. Be happy. Be good. I'll see you guys in the next podcast.